So our first inductee from Seneca College is actually a joint inductee from Durham College as well as Seneca. And both colleges are pleased to jointly present Marcy Skribe Manners to the CCAA Hall of Fame in the category of athlete. Marcy was a rare student athlete who excelled not only in the demanding health sciences programs at Seneca and later at Durham, but also by being an exceptional two-sport athlete for two different schools. She was awarded multiple national awards for Seneca and then Durham at the CCAA soccer and basketball championships. I have 3 testimonials that I would like to share with you that illustrate Marcy's intense mental focus and impressive technical skills. Former basketball teammate Lisa Ratz offered these comments about Marcy. I've had the privilege of knowing Marcy as a teammate and as an opponent. Definitely prefer her as a teammate. Marcy's abilities and skills are clear with all of her awards and trophies, but Marcy stands out because of her ability to develop and make her teammates better players. Practices with Marcy were intense, hard work, and even fun when Dwight was yelling at us. As a point guard, it was great playing with a post player I could rely on 100% of the time. I knew when the ball was in Marcus's hands that good things would happen. And apparently they had fun off the court too, but they've been sworn to secrecy, so I'm not sure I'm privy to those stories, nor would I probably be able to share them with you if I did know them. Former soccer teammate Melissa McMacken has shared that Marcy was a leader on and off the field. She had a rare ability to move with grace and style despite her towering stature. She always stayed focused and could be depended upon in the toughest situations. Playing with her was truly a privilege. She recounts that in the OCAA gold medal game, there was 1 minute left, and Seneca was winning by 1 goal. A player from the opposing team got quite physical with me on a corner kick, and Marcy just came in and stepped between us and shut her down just using her stature. Personally, I think there was probably an evil glare involved as well, but that's between those 2 players. Former athletic director Bonnie Backvar describes Marcy as a pure athlete, poetry in motion. She moved so easily, she played instinctively. And with the command of a general, she seemed to be able to score at will. Ken Babcock, athletic director Durham College, has offered that Marcy is the type of high-profile college athlete that only comes along every once in a while. She was not only dominant on the basketball court and on the soccer field, but also in the classroom academically. It was a pleasure to have Marcy close out her highly successful CCAA career at Durham College after 2 amazing years at Seneca. She is very receiving of the Hall of Fame recognition. After graduating, Marcy gave back to the sport and to her colleges. First with Durham, coaching the basketball team in 1999, followed by a 5-year term with the Seneca Scouts/Sting, where she led the Sting to 2 appearances at the national championships in 2 consecutive years. Marcy also was a great mentor as a coach. She mentored 2 CCAA coach apprentices, both all Canadians with Seneca, Natasha Toms and Ashley Docking. Marcy's focus and drive and great sense of humor have brought her success as a student athlete, as a coach, and in her career. Together with our former Seneca men's basketball coach, Warwick Manners, they have beautiful children. And Ken, I'm telling you right now, I've got dibs on young Maya, who's a great basketball player at the age of 4 or 5 years old. So I've got the Seneca jersey ready and a letter of intent. So ladies and gentlemen, may I present a CCAA 2-sport athlete, 3-time All-Canadian, coach, and 2016 Hall of Fame inductee, Marcy Skribe Manners.
Good evening, everybody. Please let me start by saying it is amazing to be here. How incredible is this, to be part of this elite group of athletes? I have to say that when I got the email from Sandra, I was floored. I had no idea I was even considered for anything like this. I do want to first congratulate all of you who are honored here tonight, including my fellow Seneca Scouts. Yes, Scouts, because that's what we were back then. Avery, Frank, Rosika, and of course after tonight, Linda. I was so lucky to be a part of the OCAA and to have the opportunity to experience the CCAA. Although, I have to be honest, my great memories of the CCAA were not plentiful. We never won. Don't get me wrong, there are some incredible memories to talk about. Geez, I was almost able to give the CCAA credit for meeting my husband. Yes, I said almost. You see, actually it was Lisa Ratz, my teammate at the time, introduced me to him right after one of our games. However, it was right after the game. Heading down to the locker room, still bitter, still sweating, and certainly not caring about whoever this guy was that I was getting introduced to that she went to high school with. However, years later, our paths crossed again at Seneca where we both coached, and here we are. But it's not all fun and games. My husband, who was lucky enough to win a national championship at Humber, and I won't give Humber much credit throughout the night, just let you know. He does remind me often about how he won and I didn't. Oh, and let's not forget about the ring that I get waved across my face every so often. But seriously, I would give up all of my individual accolades to have just one championship ring. But hey, I have some amazing memories of the gold medals we won at the OCAA championships. When I was at Seneca, and our nemesis that year, and mortal enemy forever, Humber, were upset in the semis, which meant we would not have to play them in the final. And the following year with Durham, beating our mortal enemy in the final to get to the nationals. Mortal enemy Humber, of course. Okay, I've grown up a bit. They're not my mortal enemy anymore. But when I was young and immature, absolutely. But honestly, when I look back at my experiences in the CCAA, despite never winning a medal, any of the 3 times I attended, and 2 times as a coach, I still couldn't tell you a single negative thing I took away from it. Not even when I was freezing to death in Medicine Hat for soccer, our entire team smearing our faces in Vaseline in hopes that it might help ease the wind chill, or spending halftime in a tent with a heater and hot chocolate. Not after losing a first-round game we had no business losing. We just stunk it out. Not even after having to guard Kelly Schumacher, who was ever so slightly bigger than me. I still remember that I was able to hold her to 10 points that game, but we still lost. Not even after having to guard another super 6-footer the very next game, where even I admit I was beat up. I just remember thinking, what do they feed these Western people? Because they are all big, even the point guards. I remember thinking how awesome it was to be there, how much the people, the volunteers, treated us like rock stars, how no matter where it was, except maybe the bus ride to get there, the venue was amazing. You knew you had come to the big show. I won't lie, there was a lot of learning that happened. We did win a game or 2. I did really get beat up, but I loved every minute of it, because we were there and not at home putting our shoes in the closet waiting for the next run. I can't stand here and tell you this great story about how I got to those championships or how I got to where I am now. A huge reason for this is because of those 2 people over there, my mom and dad. Did I work hard to get where I am? Absolutely. But those 2 amazing people gave me all of the tools I needed to be successful in all aspects of my life. It would be wrong for me not to be successful in sports or in life. I wasn't the one who put myself through university without a penny to scrape together. It wasn't me that worked ridiculous hours or was washing the same stinky gear at 11 o'clock at night for the 10th time that week just so it was fresh for game time. I never woke up alone and made my own breakfast on game day. My mom beat me to it every single time. But this was because she was certain that her raw egg and orange juice concoction made me perform better. Yeah. Actually, all of us, because I say us because she supported 4 of us kids similarly through a good 20 years of our school lives. Our parents set the bar high. It was instilled in us to be driven, ambitious, and independent. Something they said way back when I was a teenager still resonates for me all the time, especially in trying to teach my own kids. Anything worth having is worth working for, and if you're not willing to work for it, then it can't be that important. The least I could do for my parents, for all of the sacrifices they made for me, was to use them for good and to be as successful as I could in return. And hey, don't get me wrong, those sacrifices didn't come for free. I may have felt like a superstar on the court at times, but when reality kicked in at home, I was just another snotty kid who had chores and responsibilities. And I can't thank my parents enough for that. I do have to say, it is difficult to pick out those about 100 key things my parents taught me over the years. But when it came to sports and life, there is a great quote I feel epitomizes one of the strongest and most valuable lessons you can learn. It is not what you can do for your children, but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. Which leads me to another favorite quote. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Of course, my favorite, MJ. Not Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, just to clarify that. But I love him too. I still have that poster hanging in my office today. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad, for letting me fail and giving me the tools to know I can succeed anyway. There are definitely a lot of thank yous to be given out here tonight. Although I do think it is a little unfair that only builders, coaches, and athletes are eligible for halls of fame. I think there should be a hall of fame for therapists that had the most spoiled athletes. Or the person behind the cage, what's his name again, who gets the lamest excuse for why your uniform got ruined? Or the person that stayed the latest, minimum of midnight, to make sure the floor was perfect for that game tomorrow? Or for the bus driver that had to listen to the worst group of female singers screaming the same song for the 10th time because it was their song. There are so many people behind the scenes that get overlooked and rarely get thanked, but yet they play a crucial part as to why a program, a team, or an individual is successful. And thank you so much to the athletic directors and coaches. The athletic directors, Linda, Bonnie, Ken, you worked and continue to work tirelessly behind the scenes, on weekends, on evenings, missing time with your own families to support your college families, being so supportive unconditionally, and I don't know how you did it, despite the crap you get in return sometimes. But you were and are genuinely invested in your student athletes and make them feel important, which is so incredibly crucial and meaningful to so many collegiate athletes that didn't have that already. I wish I would have appreciated all of your sacrifices and commitment back then as much as I do now. Sports played such an integral role in my life all the way through, and even now. Sports, basketball in particular, allowed me to see parts of the world I would never have seen if I hadn't played. Playing college basketball allowed me to travel to parts of Canada I may not have otherwise seen, including the horrible drive to Lethbridge from the airport. Anyone who says that being successful came easy is full of it. And anyone who says that they became successful on their own is even more full of it. Despite the incredible amount of support I had at home, I had support from so many people along the way. Yes, the ones who cleaned the uniforms, the ones who iced your ankle even when they knew full well you were busted from practice and just needed a break. The ones who came to every game just because they were true fans. The athletic directors that drive hours to see your final, only to turn around right after and drive another few hours to watch another one of their team's final. The coaches who drive to practice after their day job to get paid next to nothing, to deal with kids with a million excuses for everything under the sun, but will go to bat for you the very next minute. I really hope that over my OCAA and CCAA careers that I left it all on the floor as you have done for me. And so I do this tonight, leave it all on the floor. If I could teach the up-and-comers something, or even give them a few words of advice, it would be to appreciate and to give back however you can. Appreciate your opportunities, appreciate people that help you along the way. Appreciate how lucky you are, even if you don't feel lucky that day. Appreciate your success, even if you lost, because the lessons and tools it provides you for your future are invaluable. Give back to the next generation. even if just a small piece of what the generation before you gave to you. Pay it forward, because it really does work. Thank you to Linda, Bonnie and Dwight, Ken and Mike, all of my teammates. Thank you to the CCAA for this incredible honor. I will appreciate it and will be certain to nonchalantly wave it across my husband's face for the next little while. I am blessed. Thank you very much.